Hey guys, how are y'all doing? Just got finished doing my first Zoom meeting. I know there's a lot of problems with the internet problem today, so we're going to probably try to reschedule that for Tuesday of next week. And if you have any problems, just email me or text me or something like that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the PowerPoint that I have put up. And so I'm going to go ahead and start the PowerPoint from the beginning. So it says balancing a chemical equation. So when we're talking about this, we're talking about where we have this type of information, okay? So we're going to go back to our sphere, and we're going to go and we're going to actually look at this right here. So the first thing that we had here is I want to make sure that you understand. We have what's called a reactant and we have a product. Based on the reading assignment, it tells us with the law of matter or the law of mass says nothing can be created nor destroyed. So basically what that's telling us is it's telling us whatever is over here in the reactant side should equal what's over here in the product side. Usually when I am doing a problem, the first thing that I'm going to do is I usually do a line in between that states that separates my reactant and the product. The next thing that I do is I need to remember these things here. So in my notes, I would have coefficient and subscript. Remember how this goes. Coefficient is what's on the front of something that's distributed. Remember? A subscript is kind of like our H2S that is attached to there. Okay? So, here we are. First things that I do when I'm balancing an equation is I write down all my variables. So I have AG, I have H, and I have S. AG, H, and S. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to write down how many I have. Now you see this plus sign here and this plus sign here. So basically what that's telling me is this element here is mixing with this compound, okay? And that's what's happening in the reactant. And then when I have a product, I have two separate things that I have left, okay? So Ag on this side, I have 2. Hydrogen, I have 2. Sulfur, I have 1. Here we are at Ag again. I have 2. Sulfur has 1 and hydrogen has 2. This right here is a balanced equation. So let's look back at the PowerPoint again. And so basically what it's telling you is it's just telling you that the reactant and the product has to pretty much stay the same. So there are different types of word equations and skeleton equations. So when we're talking about word equations, that's where we would have argon plus hydrogen, sulfur, which would be dihydrogen sulfide, right, guys? That's what it's talking about in this type of word versus skeleton equation. I've already talked to you about subscripts and coefficients. Remember how that works. That the subscripts is the things that are attached. Coefficients are what's in front. And then it's just basically showing you through this presentation where it's giving you the molecular structure here. This is CH4, which is carbon with 4 hydrogens and 2 oxygens. And then in our product side, we have 1 carbon. We've got 2 oxygens. We have an oxygen and 2 hydrogens. And so what they're doing is they're just doing this colors so that you can see. So based on that, you have 1 carbon, 4 hydrogens, 2 hydrogens, 2 oxygens, and 3 oxygens. So let's look at this problem here. And I'm going to use this as an example to show you how to balance one so that you can actually see how it works. So I'm going to write this problem out. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go now back to here. And here I've wrote that problem out. Okay. So this is the reactant. This is the product. Here's my line in between. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Carbon, I have 1. Okay. Hydrogen, I have 4. Oxygen, I have 2. Do you notice how I'm writing them all in order? Carbon here is 1. Hydrogen is 2. And oxygen is 3. This is a plus sign in between, so that's 2 plus 1. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, all right, I know I have double amount of hydrogens over here than I have over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my hydrogens first. I usually put a little asterisk in front of everything that will show me what I need to do. So if I go here and I want to change this to 4, if I put a 2 in front of here, 2 times 2, which is 4, 2 times 1, which is 2, plus 2, which would make that 4. Right, guys? And then over here, I have 2 here. So to be able to do this, I'm going to say, okay, 2 times nothing, right? So I need to put a 2 in front of here. And if I do, that makes it to a 4. So now my formula is CH4 plus 2O2 yields CO2 plus 2H2O. And guess what? Excuse me. I have a balanced equation. All right, so I'm hoping that's going to help on that. So I'm going to look one more time at the PowerPoint, see if there's anything else that I need to go over. I will also record on the PowerPoint if you need me to, but I don't think I need to. So let's go and let's do the last one where it says, like, balance these following equations. So we have C2H6 plus O2 yields CO2 plus H2O. Okay? So let's see. And then we have Fe plus O2 yields blank Fe2O3. So let's go back to here. And let's see if we can figure out how to do this. So the first one that we have is this one right here. C2H6O2 yields CO2 plus H2O. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do my little line down the middle. I'm going to say carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. And I'm going to look and see what I have. There's 2 carbons, 6 hydrogens, and 2 oxygens. Right, guys? Over here, I have 1 carbon, 2, 3 oxygens, and 2 hydrogens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say carbon is lower on this side, hydrogen is lower on this side, and my oxygen is lower on this side. So the first thing I'm going to do is I need to make my carbon 2, my hydrogen 6. So if I put a 2 in front of here, that's going to change my carbon to 2. My oxygen now has 2 plus 1, which is still, no, 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1, which right now is 5, isn't it? Okay? So then my carbons now are equal, my hydrogens are not, and my oxygens are not. So let's see what I can do now. Let me change my hydrogens to make it 6. Well, 3 times 2 is 6, right? So that would give me 6 hydrogens. 3 times 1, which is 3, right? Oxygens, plus the 5, 5, 6, 7, that would make that 8, wouldn't it? And then I would go over here and say, all right, I need to make 8 over here. This has got 2. So 4 times 2 is 8, right? Voila. Now it is balanced. Okay? So that's what you do. So the last one, we have Fe plus O2 equals Fe2O3. C in the middle. Fe and O, correct? Fe and O. Fe is 1. This one's got 2. Oxygen has 2. Oxygen has 3. So I'm going to say Fe is smaller over here. My oxygen is smaller over here. But I'm going to tell you, I want to, first of all, I can change Fe very easily, can't I? I just put a 2 in front. Boom. It's done. Now, I need to change my oxygen, but guess what? I have all this attached, so that 2's not going to work. So I'm just going to go ahead and erase that. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to look again, and I'm going to say, all right, I need to change this to an even number. 3 times 2 is 6, right? So if I do 2 here, that would change that to a 4. That would change that to a 6. Now I can come over here and change mine, can I? So if I want Fe to be 4, the only thing I do is put a 4 in front. If I want my oxygen to be a 6, I can put a 3 in front, and that's it. So, I'm hoping this helped you. I want you to try to do what is assigned. And if you have any problems, just send me an email or anything like that. Like I said, I have put up this PowerPoint that you can look at, and you can figure out using that, or you can use what I'm doing here. And if you need more problems, I can do more problems tomorrow, and we can change the assignment, because this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this today, and let's see if we can get it up. Please make sure if you have any makeup work, you get that done for me and send in, because I need to have that as soon as possible. And guys, I hope you have a great day. Thank you for joining me, okay?